To our daily tariff talk now. Last week, as I spoke with Marianne Meed Ward, the Burlington Mayor was ready to get on a plane and head to Washington in hopes of meeting with U.S. officials. I spoke with the mayor this afternoon and got her thoughts on how the trip went.
Very, very productive meetings. We were meeting directly with congressional representatives and senators. So these are the people who can make decisions, Republicans and Democrats alike. So we were asking the Republicans to talk to their leader, to talk to the president, and bring the message that 25% tariffs, although now the talk is 50%, are going to be crippling for both sides of the border. And the great thing was we were joined with mayors of border states that are on the Great Lakes and the border. And they, again, all different party stripes, but they're all singing, we are all singing from the same songbook. The tariffs hurt us all. We need to respect trade agreements. And if there's a desire to reopen a trade agreement, there's a process for that. There's a way to do that. This chaos of announcing tariffs, rolling them back, changing the number, delaying, is creating havoc in industry, creating havoc in the markets. And it's really not a nice way to treat your friends and allies. So that message was delivered to all of the people that we talked to. I feel it was a very productive trip.
All right, well, let's bring it home, bring it local here. Couple local matters for you. Burlington has launched a significant tree maintenance rebate program to preserve trees. Okay, so what constitutes a significant tree and how do people apply for said rebate?
Basically a big tree, and we measure that. There's a certain diameter, so check to see if your tree meets the circumference and the diameter. And we know that as trees age, sometimes they'll need cabling, sometimes they obviously will need pruning, but some of the pruning for a significant tree, and we used to have two. We've lost both of them, big silver maples. I could not hug my way around them. They were like not even halfway. They were massive. And so when you prune one of those, a branch is as big as a tree. So it takes cranes and it takes extra effort and cost. And so for those trees that are on private property, we recognize that they are a shared resource. They often provide shade and stormwater absorption for all of the properties that are in the vicinity. The branches, obviously, the canopy goes well beyond the property, including onto city property, and shelters our sidewalks and our roads. And so we want to participate in providing a little bit of financial relief as our way of saying thank you to people for looking after those trees.
That is great. All right, and finally here, the City of Burlington is conducting a pet boarding survey to better understand these services. Now, I saw this headline and I wanted clarification on what this actually is, because it almost reads like the city is opening a kennel, but that is not the case.
No, we're not going to run pet boarding, but as the owner of a lovely Wheaten Terrier, Boston, we have had occasion to use pet boarding services. And basically what it means is you need somewhere for your dog to go if you're traveling, for example, or you're in hospital, or you need a place for the dog to stay overnight. And we have had rules that have grown up over years that they're now looking at that prevent those kinds of services in urban areas. And you have to have a certain size of property and all of that. So we're looking at it again because we know that there are pet boarding services that operate in urban areas. And so some of the folks that have followed the rules historically, a lot of these are out in our rural area north of the 407 in Dundas, and they're saying, hey, what's going on here? Like, what are the rules? And so there are people who are saying we do want to allow pet boarding services within urban areas, but there should be some guidelines around them. How many dogs, how often are they outside? You can imagine if there's a pet boarding service and you have 10 or 15 dogs running around in the backyard and you're working from home now, that could potentially be disruptive. So these are all the kinds of consideration things that I've heard over the number of years that I've been a councillor and the mayor in terms of concerns, as well as the need to look at this again. So I think this is an important step. Sometimes our bylaws don't keep up with the times or the demands in the community, but so this is an opportunity for us to have a look and see what modern pet boarding bylaw might look like.